Well, hello there, friends. It's me, ya boy, the Ernizzle, coming to you on a fried dizzle. About to talk to you about the GF Izzle. Ah, well, tonight we got a couple things we're gonna go over. Um, First we're gonna talk about dang you, right there, that one, the one in the TV. Some quality memes right there. We're gonna talk about some of that. We're gonna talk about some of the news on the CN side. And then we're gonna hop in to a Gunsmoke fun line. We're gonna. I think I can get the kill tonight, guys. It's the night. I trained for this moment, so we're gonna do that for funsies. Yeah, I don't know what else we're gonna do after that. We'll just do the rest, you know, as it comes up. So, well, let's see if I can pull up the news feed here. Give me a second. See if I can work my streamer magic. There we go. Okay, so I know we're not gonna have any of the cool background sound effects. You're just gonna have to hear me talking. But let's see if I can make this a little bigger for myself. You guys can see this, but I gotta move it over to my main screen here. Okay, so lots of things happened in the last week or so. And I just kind of want to cover all of them. Most of this is drama free, so for anyone who's about to like lose their shit over this, just bear with me. We're not actually here to really talk about the quote drama, but we're gonna touch on it just a teeny bit because it just kind of is part and parcel with these patch notes here. So we're talking about obviously, remember we were talking about how they did that offline one-on-one meet President Yuzhong thing. That already happened. That was, I think, last week sometime. And that apparently went pretty well, judging by the changes we got here. So let's kind of go over them. Whoa, drink, calm down. Sorry about that. But yeah, let's talk about the patch notes. So the first one off the top right here is Macchiato Sulfur interaction. Blah 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 is getting put in the game for free. So pretty much that's for their login event. For us, it'll probably be either the same thing or something similar. But long story short, that specific animation, interaction, whatever you want to call it, that's going to be now just like kind of part of the system. You're not going to have to like go out of your way to chase that, which is pretty cool. Although I think it's still tied to the costume, so I don't know how much that's going to help. Right? It'd be cool if they separated it from the costume. I don't know if that's possible though because of I don't know, maybe the way they got it animated or something like that. But and then they talked about in the future going forward, there's going to be other dorm interactions with units. Those ones are going to be given out for free. I'm assuming it's free just because, after this whole kerfluffle, we'll call it, they're just going to try and make people happy. But the point is, we're getting more of those in the future, so this won't be a one-time thing. There will be more of them, so stay tuned for your favorite T-Doll getting a cool interaction. I'm gonna skip some of this banner outfit. So yeah, that's another one. This one is kind of important. So the way there was a little bit of question about how often they were going to rotate these event banners. Like the specifically, this is talking about like the Klukini banner for like I don't know what they're called, the gotcha system. I don't know what the actual name for it is, but the point is this is going to happen. They say around major events, which I believe their definition of major events are like the 6th-month events, so like twice a year. So like for example, the one we got for Springfield would have been considered a major event, and the one we got for Klukai would have been major event. So they're usually the two-parters. So the long story short is the dorm system is looking like it's going to get 2 outfits a year. But this is some of the more interesting and better news. The purple quality outfits will be available for direct purchase. So this one's specifically referring to the Andrus outfit, the little the Halloween one. I'm just gonna call it the Halloween one. And yeah, that one you can just buy straight up. So you're gonna have to worry about like getting screwed over, being unlucky, or mostly it frees people who are willing to spend money. It frees up more of the trajectory tokens for other stuff, which is kind of cool. And they're going to add more stuff, gold calibration chips, cores, etc. Soft pity, which is for the gold these things, gold calibration and cores. Like that's kind of cool. Just like a little like hey, you know, you didn't get the outfit, but like here's something else cool. This didn't really make sense. That's why there's a question mark at the end here. I just don't really know what they mean by this. The new outfit banner. Well, so this is saying like after the Clukini, whatever outfit comes next, it says the weekly guaranteed outfit tickets will remain. I don't really know what that means. It's probably make a lot more sense when the system's in place. This also kind of didn't make sense either. Outfit pulls will be added to event rewards. I'm assuming they mean just like once again because they're going to be doing it with major events. Like you know, you're going to get some of the gacha currency for the specific type of gacha in those events. This one's pretty big. They don't say it here, but they if you scroll way up in the post here, they did talk about it. So they reduced the cost of the furniture by a lot. They went down. This is the credit token here. This is the paid for currency. They reduced this by 60% or something. So if something was 100 credits before, now it's going to be 40, which is a pretty significant reduction in cost. So that's a kind of a big win for all the people who are kind of like thinking about just buying it. Let's see. More interactions in development. Blah blah blah. They will call it party time. The new doll stories, which are called party time. This could be really cool. I'm assuming this is just more of like those little like interactions, like they kind of previewed it. You know, like where whatever, I don't know, like Rosa makes you coffee or something and you know, give it a 1 out of 10 star rating or something like that. Or, you know, there were some previews of this in the trailer. They didn't really go into detail and like explain exactly what this was, but that's I'm assuming what party time is. What a weird name. I also hope that they just don't abandon this in the future because they did kind of do that in GFL1 with a couple systems. They like added them and then they just kind of like never updated them. So let's hope that doesn't happen. This is whatever. I think you're just gonna be able to walk around as your favorite character. You can role play or something. So here's the stuff I kind of wanted to actually cover. So Jangyu rework. This is relevant to us because she is the next unit after Niketa here, and she is getting a rework, which I'm assuming is going live when she's like time-wise. This should line up when she's coming out for us. Sion's going to get it a few weeks early, but about the same time. So this is going to be kind of fresh off the presses. This is interesting. They're switching her from Sentinel to support class. I don't think this really matters for anything. The only two things I can think this affects is one, your dorm stat bonuses, the one you get for having so much whatever affection with the different units, cumulative bonus, that one, and like I guess for Gunsmoke Frontline, there's like certain buffs that affect specific classes, like whatever 20% Sentinel damage or something, or Vanguard damage. That's the only things I can think of that this would matter for, because nothing else comes to mind. If I'm forgetting something, please chime in. Sorry, I'm gonna try and get through these before I go through the chat, because otherwise I'm gonna lose my train of thought, because I do that a lot. This is big. Project NeuroCloud is coming online September 9th. They have given zero info about this. This has been super hush hush, and I'm guessing because it's going to be kind of hype. So I am looking forward to this. If anybody knows somebody with a CN account, or like I'm gonna try and watch a stream of it, because I'm super excited to see what they do for this. If it's a story or if they're gonna have new units. It will be such a big L if we don't get at least 1 or 2 units from Project NeuroCloud moved into this game. Oh, dude, I'm really excited about this. I know they only put this little tiny segment in just because they don't want to talk about it. I think they're purposely trying to keep it a surprise. I hope to God it's not just like, oh, like a 5-minute story and then we're done. That would be horrible. The fact they've been working on it for so long makes me excited. So okay, more interesting news. Vector is getting her expansion key. The rich keep on getting richer. I love this key. This key is Yeah, we were talking about this the other day, like how like keys tend to be kind of a goofy way, I think, to quote fix units, because the units that are in dire need of help get a key that makes them on par with other units. For example, like Centurisi's key, like really, like she really needed the help, and that put her on par with like some of the other like healers that were meant for specific team types. For example, Centurisi's key gives her a bunch of like, I think the team 10% or 20% burn damage. Um, and then there's like units that are like good from day one, and it's like, okay, well, they get a key, and what do you do? Like the Xiaomi key is just cracked as hell, and this one looks to be another cracked key. So when she uses an active attack, it reduces her ultimate's cooldown by 1 turn. In practicality, this is going to bring her ultimate from a 4 turn cooldown to a 2 turn cooldown. Because when you use the ultimate, you get a second action, so that'll reduce it by 1. Then you take another turn, that reduces it by another 1, and then 1 for the turn. But then you have an awkward turn, so you still reduce it only a little bit, but you're looking at now like a 75% uptime on her alt's buffs. If I did that right in my head. No, like 60, yeah, whatever. You get a lot better uptime with her ultimate, which is good for anyone who has higher segments, because some of her higher segments, when you alt her buff or her she buffs the team and does like debuff cleansing and stuff. In addition to that, she's going to get convectance points. This only matters because when she hits 6 convectance, she cashes them all in for a damage bonus for the turn, but just going to be a teeny tiny damage boost. This one is huge, though. Absolutely bananas. I can't believe they're actually doing this. So she's going to restore 15 HP whenever someone does a follow-up attack. This is capped at 4 times per turn. But remember, with her segment 1, everyone gets an additional support attack, so that you can trigger this so easy. Like literally just her and Changju is enough to trigger this. You can heal the whole team for 15% every time. So a um, well built vector sits around 3,000 attack before buffs, like in game buffs. So you're gonna heal like 400 to 450 ish HP every time this triggers, and it's going to trigger 4 times a turn. I mean, you're going to heal like half of the unit's health bar, which is fan freaking tastic, because this, I think, is actually going to open up a lot of team compositions that allow you to go healerless. If you utilize cover correctly, this, I think, can be really kind of crazy. We'll have to see exactly, but I'm excited for this because this is going to let you cram a lot of units on the team. It also makes it less awkward to use Parry on the team, because Parry does a lot of shielding and she hurts herself, which is fine because she just shields herself like crazy, but she doesn't do really anything for the team. And so it makes it a little less awkward if the team is taking like AoE chip damage while Parry is doing all the main tanking with her force shield. So this is cool. Once again, I'm really hyped for this. Let's go on. Covenant added to Faye, doesn't really matter. Maybe it does matter if you like her. This is something else I want to talk about, the Pure Element team. So there's going to be a new resource for the burn team that's added in a future update. I don't know what they're going to call it. I'm just going to assume it's like a stage-wide buff, probably call it, whatever, just call it like, I don't know, heating up or something like that. And I'm going to assume that it's going to be something like, I don't know, every time you do a follow-up attack, or I'm going to assume it's something specific to the burn team. So I don't know, maybe every time someone does a follow-up attack with burn damage, or I don't know, every time someone takes overburn or whatever, you're going to get a stack or a whatever of this new resource that they're talking about. And it's going to allow you to do other things, like, you know, it says passive effect. You know, don't know what that means. That might be increased healing, increased damage, increased crit rate, increased stability, who knows. But it's really cool because this is what we were talking about the other week as well. It gives mono element teams something else to work with, right? Because for like Fire Team, for example, they're kind of like, quote, done, and they have all the units they need. This kind of lets you play into that and like complete the package, so to speak. And that would be cool too, because I do wonder how they're going to implement this. Because if they implement this somehow tied to a character or tied to like a group of characters somehow, that means future teams could have a different effect. For example, this one could be tuned to the current burn team, and then like maybe in the future, a different fire unit can come out that's not part of this, and so then you won't like feel guilty not using her in the team or something like that. So interesting. And then obviously other mechanics for other teams in the future. Same thing: electric, corrosion, frost. Everyone's kind of got their own theme right now. Hydro is like kind of like summons and extra turns, and frost is about like shields. And it'd be interesting to see what they do with this, the other element types, because that, like I said, that'll be cool. It gives a little bit of gameplay variety. Voice acting for the Diane event. This is a Mist Wings of Grey. This is Diane's event. Cool. I'm guessing that's because it got rewritten, right? And I'm guessing they added voice acting for that. But it's weird because not all the events have voice acting. So Diane's also going to get an expansion key buff. Gunsmoke Funline is getting 2.0 version eventually soon, quotations. And then, yeah, Boundary Push PvP getting a rework, and some Easter eggs. And I think that's it. So let me catch up on chat real quick. Sorry, I had to do a lot of talking. And then we're going to quickly cover over the Django rework. Nothing, it's not too crazy, but I want to cover it a little bit just so we kind of have a little sneak peek, because I'm excited. We're going to get to experience this unit for the first time with everybody else. Although, as we'll see when we talk about it, it's going to be a little weird without any other electric units to go with her. So yeah, Paul was talking about earlier, we were talking about the animations without the costume. Not really sure if you could do that with the animation without the costume. That one doesn't seem too specific, like that particular interaction, the macchiato one, because it's like, I mean, she's just sitting on a couch. It does not like, there's anything costume specific about that. But I could see in the future other units, like for example, the swimsuit ones, for example, and they shoot you with like a squirt gun or something stupid like that. That wouldn't really make sense if they weren't at the beach party, right? So you got to have like that one tied to the outfit. That's just, I guess, off the top of my head, that's something I could think of. Ghost Mana says PNC collab finally at new Melee doll. Dude, don't taunt me like that. There's a lot of cool units they could pick from PNC. I know you're referring to Soul. It's a couple I could think of. Wooly, damn. Wooly's being harsh. He's like, not to be a party pooper, but the only thing I care about at this point is when are we getting a new story chapter? You mean us specifically, like EN, or are you talking about just the game as a whole? Because there are a couple main story chapters that we haven't quite caught up to, right? The Lena/Leva, well, I guess it's not really Lena's event, but Leva's event is, my understanding, is pretty main story, and then obviously the whole AN94 or Alva, and see if I'm trying to get these names right, and then the AK-15, the Vichroya, I think that's, I forgot her name in her Russian name, but AK-15's event, I think that one's also like quote main story. So soon, that's what we're gonna go with. And then yeah, Paul's like most likely next is coming up. Then okay, so I'm all caught up, and Wooly's gonna get back in the game for the new chapter. Hell yeah. So let's we're gonna talk about these skills real quick. She is kind of tailor made to fit into the electric team's stability shredding archetype. So her first ability is just tax the target as usual. Second ability, does AoE electric damage to the enemy and all enemies around it, and then puts a voltage tile down. And if phase weakness is exploited, deals extra stability damage, and then she gets an additional attack or additional movement and command. So the thing to note is that this is melee. There's a video of this somewhere, but it's like buried in their like 20-minute presentation up here. So can I find it real quick? It's in here somewhere, but long story short, you have to be within melee range to actually do it. So no, that's follow up. Yeah, here it is. So in this, there we go. So you gotta like run up to melee, you hit it, but then you get the extra command and the extra movement afterwards, similar to like how how like Ulred and Diane works. So you can like move afterwards and then still use her other ability, which we will talk about next. Thunderous Smite, you just deal electric damage, and if they're in a stability break, she aura farms, and she gets a stack of aura, and what that is doing is that essentially is going to let her cash in future stability damage. While she has the buff, stability damage dealt is increased. So, let's kind of explain this more clear. Let me read through it, and then I'll explain kind of how it works. So, stability damage dealt is increased, and if the target has more than 0 stability when using a basic attack or any of her skills, consumes all stacks and deals fixed damage. Since the only way you get this is from her alt and this attack here, and you only get it if they're already stability broken, this pretty much is like letting you build up stability break for later. So you hit the target with ability. If they're already in stability break, you're going to get a stack of this, and that just lets you kind of hold on to it later, so that when they recover from their stability, you now have a bunch of these stacks that you get to cash in on your next attack to like kind of burn through the stability extra quick. And then her alt just does electric damage. She gets one more of those stacks and a bunch of Confectants index, and all allies get positive charge, have their debuffs dispelled, and removes stun and taunt. Pretty standard support type buff. This one's a damage buff, not a like healing type buff. Her passive is nothing crazy. It's so she gets Confectants index, which to be honest, they don't really talk about what she spends Confectants on in this overview, so you'll have to see when we get her. She gets Confectants index when she starts her turn, and then at the end of the action she gets more. I'm sorry. At the end of the action, this is what she uses it for. Duh. If she has full, she cashes it all in to reduce the cooldown of her alt. Okay, so just lets her use her alt more often. That's really what the Confectants is for. And then when you repeatedly apply negative charge, which I don't think she can do. This one is like other units in the electric team, I think, do this, but I don't think she specifically does it in any of her skills. But it also applies another debuff to it, which reduces the damage that they deal, increases the damage they take. And then finally, when she repeatedly applies positive charge, which this one she does apply because it does come from her alt, and I think from one of her abilities down here, we'll see in a second. You also get overcharge, which is another buff which increases damage and ignores some of their defense. So pretty standard, just like do more damage type buff. You also increase some healing received, although electric is kind of a weird element that doesn't really have like a dedicated healer. I mean, Andorus does a little bit, but yeah, they don't have like a Springfield, like someone who's like pure dedicated healer. And then she does support attacks too. And gains she does some more aura farming while she's doing the support attacks. Let's do keys. These are all pretty standard. They're all actually pretty good. None of them are like, oh, this is trash, you'd never take it. They're pretty solid. This one just gives her some at the beginning, so you can help like really burst down the initial boss's stability, if like for Gunsmoke, for example. Here we go. This one with the highest attack gets positive charge, so that one combined with her alt that gives everyone positive charge, at least the person with the highest attack will be getting this overcharge buff, which I believe on this team is going to be Leva. I think Leva or UMP 45 is the is kind of like the go-to like DPS character for this electric team. This one ignores the first instance. I'm assuming this is probably going to have a one-time use on it, similar to Xiaomi's, but ignores the first CC ability used on her. This one's interesting. So once again, whoever the person with, or whoever who's got positive charge, which could be everyone after her alt, but at very least the highest attack unit, she'll apply defense down too, which is another great thing to have for Gunsmoke Frontline. And just for bosses in general, so you don't have to like bring somebody else who puts defense dread on them. She can handle it. And then she does interception attacks, which this is, I'm gonna assume, a staple part of her kit, but I don't see a ton of synergy with it with a lot of other things. But it is just, it's gonna apply connectivity, which is like the electric debuff that the electric team uses to initially it's by itself. It like if you hit them again with an electric attack, they get stunned. But obviously most enemies are stunned, so Lena converts it into something else, which I'm having a hard time remembering off the top of my head. But not bad. Interception attacks are always welcome. They can do a lot of fun stuff, proc a lot of abilities, etc., etc. This is another good one. Reduce stability damage, which is not going to matter too much, but once again is helpful in certain situations where you're trying to go healerless, because you don't want to lose all your stability if you're trying to use cover. And then, yeah, same thing. Common key, nothing special there. Just does extra damage to stability break targets. And her expansion key, this is another weird thing about her, is that we are getting her on release with the expansion key. I'm assuming they're going to release the expansion key on release, because she's been out for so long on CN, she had time to get an expansion key and a rework. So I'm assuming they're going to release her with this expansion key. So when an enemy goes into stability break, she does electric damage to them. And when allies with overcharge, which will be your highest attack unit, deal damage, you increase their crit and crit damage for each stack of disruption on the enemy target. So once again, just a big damage boost to whoever your main dealer is. At the very least, if you have another way to apply positive charge, like through, I believe, can't remember if Andrus does it or if it's Belka that does it. I think they both do it, actually. But you'll be able to get multiple units with overcharge if you have a fully built team. So the gun, nothing crazy, just typical. It's a little weird. It's like it almost lets people who are not electric units play on the electric team, because it does convert. So when the permanent phase damage buff, so this is like every time you attack with it, you get a stack. And when you hit the smack stacks, you deal electric damage instead, which is good for her basic, right? Which I don't think you'd ever use, because this is physical damage. But I could think of like maybe there might be some interesting use cases with this to convert other units into a pseudo electric unit. So we'll have to see. Okay, that was my rant. Wow, that took a long ass time, guys. That was a lot to cover. Poof. That's the one right there. That's her. So, wow. Okay. We did it. We got through all those notes, all that stuff. Yeah. Wow. A lot of fun stuff happened in the last week. So we got a lot of things to look forward to in the future. Yeah, Ghost, I'm the same way. I think they are going to release her expansion key. If not directly on release, very quickly after release for her. But it is kind of like uncharted territory. Well, I guess not really, right? There's been a couple units that had an expansion key that they released, and then they didn't release the expansion key for a little while afterwards, but it would be nice to have that expansion key, because it doesn't really affect anything. Let's do a Gunsmoke Frontline. So I've been tryharding this, and last time we were pretty close, last Gunsmokes a couple weeks ago, and I was like the cogs in the machine were turning, and I was thinking real hard. I'm like, man, how can we pump the damage up just a little more to get the kill, so I can prove to everyone and my family and my father mostly that I'm not a failure at life, and that I actually can be a successful online gamer. Sorry, choke it up. And then I discovered the trick, and it was just get some rich friends, easy. So today we're gonna just get carried by Nikita, segment 6. But this is the team we're gonna use. And now today's buffs kind of suck, right? When I did this before, I was doing it with the burn damage buff, the crit damage one. It's the same as this. It's just that if they have a burn debuff, they do 25% more crit. That always ends up equating to more damage overall when combined with this one above it, because you're going to sit at essentially 100% crit rate, which I don't know if we can look at this unit. I forgot. Did they add the ability to... Oh, they did. Nice, nice. So yeah, so this guy's way over. He's got 84% crit, but even if he had only 70%, a modest 70% crit, because of the stage buff, you'd be at 100% crit rate, which means this is just pure 25% damage, which if you're doing math is more than 20. But we're gonna use this one today because we don't have the fire buff debuff one, so I think we'll be Gucci. I know Wooly. Wooly's like, oh god, he's doing the beloved Gunsmoke Frontline. You know, I just want to do it once. I just want to prove to everyone that I actually can play the game sort of, kind of. This is an interesting... I'm going to try and min-max this and try and explain why I'm min-maxing it the way I am. Because there's a couple counterintuitive things that you do on this, or at least that I've been doing, that have been giving me success. And to be honest, there's not really any good bosses to show off the new units. I mean, it is a little weird because we're doing segment 6. But it's like, it's hard to really find any like difficult, like strenuous content that you can kind of like show a full rotation of a character off on. So we're gonna use it on here. Let me just make sure we can get to here, to here. Yep, these all look good with the positioning. So I will try and narrate what I'm doing as I do it for any of the people who actually care. And if not, I mean, feel free to just mute me and go watch something else, you know? I won't be offended. I understand that a lot of people are burned out on this. I'm kind of burned out on this myself, but we got 2 days left and then I'll be free from this torment. So obviously we're gonna have Changju go out first every time. This doesn't really matter the order of this next one. We are going to be using Springfield's opportune assistance right away on Tolo, and the reason for this is because it allows her use a different rotation for the entire rest of the fight. If you had, I think, segment 3, you could do it without it, but for me, I don't have segment 3. Although if we would have done a little gambling before I hopped in here, I might have segment 3 on her. But it's going to let us go alt, skill 2, skill 1 over and over, as opposed to skill 1, skill 2, then alt for the rest of the fight. Before we do that, though, let's have Vector run up, throw the goop, and start the avalanche of follow-up attacks, just to rip the stability off the boss. Paul says, I enjoy Gunsmoke for what it is. It'd be fine if it was being a little harder. Yeah, that is, I think, one of the big complaints with Gunsmoke is that it's just kind of repetitive, but like needlessly repetitive. Well, this is, I'm not judging, I've been molding the optional boss in AI Limit for 2 days now. Oh, Paul says, because I used to do raiding in the classic WoW, it's just the RPG damage rotation. Scratches that itch. I could feel that. So we're gonna summon the doggo next. This is whatever. This guy has the key that equips, or that puts the water down. You don't really need it. And then we're going to move small micro optimization, which I will do here just because I always forget and it bothers me when I don't do it. For the first turn here, she needs to stand in this part so she gets hit with the cleave. If she's on that tile over there, which she can be for the rest of the fight, but for these turns where he's doing Shockwave Crush, you do want her to get hit with it just for more stacks to get cleansed. And then we'll have Tolo come over and be part of the family. This turn is just a lot of setup. Just like kind of getting all the buffs up and getting the boss's stability down. And then Unga Bunga damage happens next turn. Every turn you start off with the alt on Changju. And if I forget, I'm going to be very upset with myself. This turn, we can go Springfield alt. Because we want the... So by alting, we're going to cleanse all these stacks and get a ton of crit damage stacks. And then we're going to throw the next one on Niketa. I'm trying to think. There's a small mismatch in turns. This doesn't do a whole lot right now because she's already got the attack power buff and stuff, but for later I think it matters. There's some micro optimization still probably to be had. I haven't quite figured everything out, but this has been working so far, so we're gonna go with it. This is the one downside about segment 6 is that she burns through her turns like this, so all these buffs are gonna drop, which is the sad part. The next time we ult with Springfield, it will be a little bit different, so we will actually keep all those up over the turns. But right now, we just want to keep it simple. Yo, what up, Radical? We're cooking some Gunsmoke Funline, dude. I'm showing everyone the power of being a whale. It was just funny because I was struggling so hard to get a kill on this boss, and I was like trying to min-max everything, and I was just like couldn't do it. And I'm like, man, there's just like, you know, there's no way I can overcome the skill gap, or the skill gap, the gear gap. And then yeah, sure enough, this time around they were, you know, our platoon has like a really cracked out Niketa, and we just breezed through the fight. We never had one of the segment 6 Q-Hans, so this is the turn it gets a little weird. So Tolo needs a new set of buffs, which we do right away. Let me think about this. Yep, we do that right away. That cleanses the stack, that keeps the crit damage buff rolling for Vector and Changju. It's not going to matter so much for Niketa and Tolo because it's just going to drop over time. But then we have Vector go right after. This will rip off. This is very important that this goes away as soon as possible because this Rock Solid, I think it's called. Yeah, Rock Solid. It's a defense increase. So this needs to go ASAP. So we have the key on Vector that deletes it. So even though it's like a little suboptimal to be doing the turn order like that, it's like the sooner that debuff is gone, the more damage the real damage units can do. Then we have here, we don't pick this up on the first hit. You only pick this up on the second hit because you want the buff to be active over the turns for her out of turn follow-ups. And then we just, oh, this is so sad. It spawned right there. The ones I didn't pre-move Tolo. Well, in a perfect world, I'd pick that up right now. I'm not gonna rewind it for that one little thing though. But we'll just pretend that I picked that up on the first attack. Dude, I think you kind of did miss the slurs a little bit, Josco. Depending on who your favorite character is, I was definitely tossing around some slurs. Remind me to do the gambling after we got some. I think I have some standard tickets. I think we might have 10 or 20 we can do, see if we can get another Tololo. Once again, Changju alt initially. So let me think about this. We're on turn 4. The alt will be up next turn. So there's two ways you can do this. You can I could either have Tololo go and then give her a new set of shared telepathy, or we could put Opportune Assistance on Springfield right now, which means next turn when we do Path of Protection, it'll give us 3 Confectants, and will allow us to take a double turn next turn. I don't think that's really... I've done it, that's the way I've done it in the past, but I was like kind of rethinking it, and I actually think you want the big burst turn to be on turn 6, not turn 5. So we're actually going to slightly change it up and watch. Now that I change it up, it's going to ruin everything. But we're gonna do that. So we're going to have Springfield go at the end here. Let me think about everything I'm doing before I do it. Oh, no. See, there's the difference. Yeah, so the critical cascade buff would actually fall off, so we have to do it. Oh, that's gross. Yeah, well, we can do it this way because there's no reason... No, because yeah, if we take Tolo's triple turns, her buff will fall off, King Carving. So then when we use Springfield, Opportune Assistance on it, it actually won't. It won't do anything because it won't. I mean, it'll give her the shared telepathy, but it won't give her it won't cleanse the stack, which won't refresh it on Chongdun Vector. So we're just gonna do this. It's kind of. I said there might be a better way to min-max that, but that's what we're going with. Okay, I will remember to pre-position Tolol for that box this time, though. Okay, just checking everything. Yep, okay, so we got crit stacks still up on Vector Chongju. These guys, it'll always fall off because they take so many turns. I think we're doing okay here. Turn 6, I think, is going to be our big damage turn, so I'm just kind of like biding my time. So this turn, This turn is the janky one. Okay, so we can have Vector go immediately because she doesn't care about Springfield's buffs. I mean, the crit damage buff is nice. Oh, wait, I can't do that because, once again, crit damage will fall off. So we have to do something a little weird. Normally, you would ult right away with Springfield, but that would put the buffs up on Niketa right now, and they would fall off by the time Niketa takes the turn. So we actually have to do something kind of janky, and we have to have Niketa go first, which is really unfortunate, but you'll see why in a second here. So we have Niketa go outside of the normal turn order. We're like kind of giving up damage now for damage later. Okay, and now we have Springfield ult. Now, this is important because now she's got the critical cascade buff for the overturn interrupts, follow-up attacks, and she's also got overflowing care and etc, etc. So she's an attack up from Springfield healing. So now we have all these buffs for essentially 2 turns, which will go into the next turn, which will be very important. As you will see that we're going to dump all the out-of-turn attacks during the turn on turn 6. So, yep, grab this. It's going to look a little dicey because it's going to look like we're not going to have enough damage until she attacks at the end of the turn here. Yeah, Ghost. So with the expansion key, ideally you should be able to ult 3 times in a 7-round fight with Vector. Because it'd be on turn 1, on turn 4? Yeah, turn 1, turn 4, and then turn 7 would be the ults, I believe. Big numbers. Okay, so once again, Strong do first. So we'll have Tololo get cleansed and get new stacks of telepathy. And let me just check. I don't think... Yeah, she's still got attack up buff too. We could give her opportune assistance. Let's do that. I'm actually going to do that because I think it's going to be a little bit of a damage buff on her turn. We'll have Vector go. So this is going to be, I said, a big damage burst turn right here because Niketa's got a billion, for her, a billion stacks, and see the boss is attacking out of turn, and so it's going to trigger all of her out of turn stuff like mid-turn. So big damage numbers. Huge damage numbers here. Yeah, I think we're gonna get a kill here. I should technically pre-position, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna die. Who's gonna have the honor? Ooh, Niketa's gonna get the honor of killing him unless this crits. Nope, that crit. Well, we still had a whole nother turn to go, so I think we were pretty solid on DPS there. See, guys, that's the trick. You just rent a really cracked out segment 6 unit, and that's how you, that's how you do good. So much damage, just does so much damage. Springfield down there just being like sad. This is the, well, I guess you couldn't replace Springfield on this team because Tolo needs the shared telepathy, but said in the future you could like run Vector as the healer on this team, which would be pretty interesting. So see there, guys, I did it. I proved it. I can play the game sometimes, kind of, maybe, sort of. You guys can't bully me anymore. I mean, you can still bully me. It just, yeah, dude, the Niketa skin. Yeah. That didn't take as long as I thought. What do you guys want to do? Yeah. We don't have a new expansion drill boss yet. I don't know, man. I don't know. Dude, don't be making fun of that skin, Radical Link. It's a throwback to... See, only true fans would realize that this skin is a throwback to GFL1. And only true fans would understand why it's the way it is now and not the way it was in GFL1. We can't port that over one for one. That'd be a little inappropriate for today's modern audiences. Yeah, this is a pass for me. It's not really my cup of tea, but you know, it's not quite the, not quite, you know, it's just not to my taste, you know. I'm a man of culture, as you can tell here, you know. Are there any puzzle hard modes for this patch? There is like one open, but I didn't even look at it because we'll look at it for like 1 second. I think we're only on like day 2 of this, so we can't do all of them. But yeah, well, I'm 99. If I see segments, I'm leaving. You just saw what segment 6 Niketa does. Like, I don't think we need to destroy these poor level 50 mobs. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Not quite segment 6. Was it segment 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Segment 4. I think this is segment 4, Niketa. Yeah, I think we're good. And a signature weapon. I think we can I think you guys can auto battle that on your own time. Oh, you know, actually, we could. You know, actually, no, I lied. We'll do it challenge mode. We'll do sandbag team. I forgot. We can have our own fun, make our own fun. All right, we'll take the preset try hard dolls out. Okay, what do you guys want me to use? Let's see. Who's my strongest, weakest unit? Let's do. I think my Niketa has no gun on her. Where is she? Right? She's got baby damage. Yeah, she's got no gun. Here we go. Level 1. All right, so we'll use her. And then who else is like? Oh, we're doing the Emperor Palpatine. I'm so weak. Don't let him hurt me. Who else is super? Oh yeah, dude. Frolic. I mean, she's got a weapon, but it's a level 1 weapon. And who else? Who else? Who else is like the Groza? She's not bad, but you know, she's also not great. And then what? We have one more real. Who wants to do? Okay, Nemesis. I always pick Nemesis. All right. The Elmo team featuring the star of the show, Niketa. All right, we'll do this. We're doing great already. We're already gonna kill this guy. I think just by being level 60 on most of these units, we're already doing pretty good. Actually, no, we'll just put him over here. Frolic, can you do this and end on top of it? No. There's no way I can keep you on that. She can't attack up, right? Yeah, she can't attack up ladders. Ah! Alright, well, whatever. She's coming over here then. Oh, here's a question. Does this guy count? We're going to find out together. Does that count as an enemy or a friendly unit? So will she get her bonus movement afterwards? It does count. Okay, so everyone has to protect Krollik now. Oh, what can we do, dude? We're surrounded. Rosa, crit. Hit this diner gate. Oh no! She didn't crit. Somebody do something. Nemesis, do something. Alright, well, this guy up top is just gonna... Hopefully he murks somebody. Makes me pay for my sins. Coolidge, do something! Hell yeah, just as planned. Oh, I think she's gonna die. No, she didn't. Oh yeah, I don't have a healer in this group. About that. About that. This guy's in an awkward spot. I can't, like, get around him. Well, that's just rude on his part. Guys, I think I sandbagged a little too hard here. Can we get to a spot where we're still in cover afterwards? One more for up. Oops, click the wrong. All right, we got this. Crit. No. She's about to die anyway, so we're gonna have her take a turn off. That little sniper shot. What do we do, guys? We're surrounded with no... Alright, it's gonna be Team Groza is gonna win this for us. Team Groza and Nemesis. Who's the highest threat? Probably the security officer. Man, guys, I'm trying so hard. Oh, we're getting flanked! All part of the plan, so we baited him in, guys. Like, she's gonna take an attack, but it's worth it. This was all part of my master plan. Yeah, that was a little overkill. Calm down, guys. A little unnecessary. Oh, I'm too far away. Rosa, do something. Can we... This Skyfire boy, he's so thick. Can I get any sort of angle on him? Not really. All right, well. Nope. He's gonna be taunted by Grow. Yeah, whatever. I'm overthinking that. We just gotta, you know, pray that nobody dies. Surely he won't crit. See, easy. And then we get the flanking shot. That'll crack his stability, and then we finish him off. Yeah, dude, see? That's what I'm talking about. Pro gaming. I should have brought Colgate. I really should have. Well, you're right. I really should. That almost would have made it too easy, though. If I would have brought her. Oh, that's right. Didn't we get? Is it somebody saying reverse cipher? Are those open right now? Oh, they are. Okay, see, I don't know though. These are actually called puzzles this time, and they're got the red spooky background. So I'm a little. I don't know about this, guys. Maybe we'll save this for next time. All right, we'll do one. I mean, you guys, you just want to see me be stupid. Okay, this is easy. I just got to get over there, right? It's easy. Surely I can do this. Oh, I can't walk this way, right? Yep, can't walk that way. And these things stun you, or not stun you, but they root you in place when you walk past them. So, what's the play here, guys? So, does this guy taunt somebody? Yeah, he does. Okay. I think we're piecing together the play here. I think we taunt, move up, and then we blow them all up somehow. We only have 2 turns to do it, though. This is the Goliath. Oh, I think the Goliath has to make a break for it. I think these other 2 guys are too slow. Alright, I think he taunts this one, so he has to attack like that. This guy should also attack. Then, can you one-shot him? Ooh. We're gonna try it. Maybe next turn we can kill him? I think this is the play. We'll get this guy's attention. And then I think that safely lets us move the Goliath up. Run, little guy. Yep, that's fine. That's okay, too. Shoot him. Oh, well. Shoot him. Nope. But we did it. I solved the puzzle. Good job. See, I told you guys, pro gaming. Sponsored by Monster, not really. I wish. Well, I've conquered the most difficult content in this game now, so I'm you know. Oh, so you guys were supposed to remind me we're gonna do some gambling at the end of the stream, so the beginning of the stream. Look at this, we got a 10 pull, and we're getting kind of close to a total. Is this the one? Nope, it's not the one, but maybe next week it will be the one. I would like a segment 4 total. That would be great. That is a huge damage spike for her. But alas, I used up all my luck. Yeah, anything cool? Nah, nothing. Nothing cool, guys. Everyone go home. Thanks for coming. Nobody cares. Thanks for coming. I know we were talking about getting a segment 1 Niketa, but I think... Alright, hear me out on this. Hear me out. I need some opinions, okay? Chat, I need you to answer me, chat. How do I do this? I'm considering saving for a segment 6 of a character. I know. This is not whale gaming, but if I manage my finances correctly, on a good day, we're almost there. So let's see. Right, so this, I have 300-ish permissions. I don't actually have any on me, right? Yeah, okay. So I have 300 permissions in collapse pieces, and I haven't done the event. So this will actually be a little more than 300, probably 310. And then we got another, what, 150-ish, 110 of these. So we're at about 400 pulls, right? Now, if you have the God Luck, which I normally do have, and you win your 50-50s and stuff like that, that I'm pretty much at a segment 6 character. If you don't have the God Luck, I think you end up going to around 700 to 800, I think is the number. I think that's when you start to approach that, like, okay, it's getting very, very likely, like 90% probability that you've gotten enough copies of the character at that point. So I'm considering getting a V6. Now, this is the trick, Willie. I'm not gonna fall into the well, if this is gonna bail me out, right? I'm actually gonna try and pretend for a moment there. I was one of those guys that when the game came out on day 1, they're like, okay, I'm not gonna spend a single collapse piece until Klukai comes out, and then V6 Klukai, right? I'm thinking about doing that about 8 months late. Am I crazy? Is this a stupid idea? Paul says it depends on the character I want to max. Well, that's the other hard part, is like who gets to be the worthy chosen one, because this probably, if I do this, I'm probably gonna only do it once, because what will happen, worst case scenario, is that I dump all my tickets into a character, get unlucky-ish, end up getting only like V3 or something, and then I have to stop at segment 3 until the rerun, and then I just have to save up between then and the rerun to finish off the segment 6, which isn't the end of the world. I'm willing to do that if things go horrible, but yeah. The problem is when I do it, if I do that, we won't get to use any of the other fun characters that come out between like now and then. So that's the problem. Everyone's saying segment 6 Voyomestina, which is AK-15, and annihilate everything. Yeah, that is the one problem that I have with doing segments. It's like maxing out segment 6 on a character. Unless you're a whale and you just don't care about the money, you have to be very confident in the character you're investing that much in, because, for example, like I actually kind of want AK-15, right? Like segment 6, I want just normal, but segment 6 AK-15 doesn't really appeal to me. But the problem is I know that the character is kind of cracked, right? The problem is if you get a non-cracked character with your segment 6, it doesn't feel that good, right? For example, if you segment 6 your Centaurisi, like, I mean, cool, you're dedicated, but like, I'm sorry, it's just not gonna feel as like crazy as the segment 6 Klukai, right? Klukai was one of the ones where you segment 6 and you just like delete everything in the game for the next, year and a half. And then same thing with a couple others. Usually it's DPS characters, although DPS characters tend to be the ones that get power crept. So it's just something I'm playing around with. So maybe we'll put a pin in it. Just put a pin in it. Think about it. We don't have to. There's no rush. The characters I have up for like possibilities are AA12, AN94, or Alva, Lind and Alva. Sorry, I gotta get the names right. Lind and Alva, and then I'm also considering Florence too. But Florence, I don't know. Her playstyle's a little weird because she has to summon. She summons the bear and she does counterattacks with the bear, similar to how Niketa here does it with the doggo. I just don't know if I want to go segment 6 on that, because I'm not super crazy about pets. I do like Florence, I don't like having to micromanage pets. I actually kind of like, this is going to sound super dumb, but despite wanting to try hard games and min-max and stuff, I actually like the most brain-dead strategies. Sometimes they're the best. Like, that's why Fire Team is fun, because you just put all the units in the Fire Team and you just attack the boss. You don't have to think. You don't have to like keep track of like, okay, who do I put your telepathy on, and okay, I gotta get the buttons. No, you just press the buttons and you just boom 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 zoom zoom. Kukai's the same way. Although Kukai you have to kind of micromanage Michiti, that's a little annoying, but just like in the story. Yeah, see, that's the thing, Paul. That's nice. So Paul says V16 Springfield is kind of fun because she is a support and can do some damage. They do a really good job of making so that no matter what character you use segment 6, at least all like the modern characters, I say that is in like the ones that have been released in the second half of the game's lifespan so far, they all do crazy stuff at segment 6. So like Springfield easily turns into a damage character, so you don't feel bad if you segment 6 her. Same thing with a little bit lesser to an extent with Vector. Even Vector starts to get some pretty crazy. She's still more team focused, but you know, even the support characters start to get a little out of control. Obviously, another big one is like her segment 6. This goes to infinity, and the Scorch Marks just do bazillions of damage. So they've been doing a really good job of like, if your favorite character, if you go segment 6 on your favorite character, they're going to perform very well. It's just that there have been a couple cases in the past, and I'm not just talking for this game, for other games too. I know that if you go that deep on a character, you really, quote, have to get it right. Like, nothing is more horrible than like going segment 6 on, trying to find a good example here, but there's not really a good one. But nothing hurts more than going segment 6 on a character and finding out a year later, sorry, the character got power crept by someone who does almost as much damage with them as them, but for half the investment. Or they just get, you know, mechanics, like, just kind of screw them over. Diane, a little bit, I guess. Her segment 6 is good, but she just doesn't scale the way some of the other segment 6 DPS characters do. Like, sure, it just lets her press the alt button literally every single turn and have, what, a bazillion? How much? Tuning goes up to 10 stacks, so she gets like just a stupid amount of crit damage from it. So she scales well. Just like I said, it's just, we're not talking. Oh, here, Ulrid's a good example of someone who's like, their segment 6 is just, it's okay, but it's not like Kukai segment 6. Anyway, that's for the future, I think. We'll have to decide on that. Yeah, Paul, I agree with you. A wider account is definitely more fun, but I was wondering if you guys wanted to. It's the thing. It's like, I originally went with a wider account that didn't really have a lot of segments. The only two characters I got segments for so far are Springfield and Vector. They're both technically support units, and the only reason I got the segments was to enable other characters, not necessarily because they themselves get big damage buffs. But the reason I did that was because I wanted the account to be relatively like copyable, right? Like if you're watching one of my guides, you can just kind of copy what characters I'm using, because I'm not doing anything crazy in it. But there doesn't really seem to be an appeal for that, and because the game is, I guess, isn't difficult enough to really like justify that level of like research that people need to do. So at that point, I just kind of want to be like, fuck it, we ball, and like, you know, just segment 6 a favorite character, because I've never done that in any of these kind of games. And I thought it'd be fun. It'd be fun to take in a segment 6 character for some content and just see how ridiculously silly it gets. I could start doing those like whatever, frenzy mode 40 drills with like 2 dolls and stuff like that, and see how ridiculous we can just do in one turn or something. Yeah, Undom, that was something I was really considering. I wanted to see if I could test my way. So Undom says A12 is relying on Klukai, and you don't know if you're going to get good performance with a non-V6 Klukai. And yes, that was something I was a little worried about, because one of it is and it isn't, right? Because it's like every time Lind alts, she triggers all the dots on the target, or all the debuffs on the target, which as a segment 6 Klukai, you build them up mega fast, and they're a little stronger than normal. But even at a segment 0 Klukai, they're still there, right? Like, the dots are still there and present. They just don't trigger when they initially get put on them, right? Segment 3 and segment 6 Klukai are breakpoints because they allow you to, like, double zoom, and they allow you to trigger the dots immediately, which is important for personal damage. It doesn't really matter for Lynn's damage, though. But you are correct. It's like, in theory, they're kind of meant to go with each other. It's like, I don't know. That's something I'm not really sure about. I have to do a little trying to find some videos on Billy or something to see if I can get some solid answers on that. But we'll have to see. Yeah, and Radical Link says content-wise, non-V6 characters makes more sense. Yeah, and like you said, yeah, V6 is around 600 to 700 pulls, and I would end up being a bit short, which, like I said, wouldn't be the end of the world because I would just finish it off on the rerun. Yeah, and Radical, do I have a specific character in mind for V6? Like I said, I kind of wanted to do a character that I think is cool, which, like I said, is Florence, A12, and AN94. It's just that AN94 is another weird one that I'm not really sure where she fits, because she's a support unit, and it's like her segments make her really cracked for the team, not necessarily for her. She's kind of like a Springfield, from my understanding of looking over her kit. Once again, I haven't really found any good like video guides of her, like video examples on the CN side. So I'm not really sure how she fits into all the teams. I just know that she does a lot of follow-up and interception attacks, and she converts like shields into bigger shields and HP into shields. It's kind of weird how she works, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not really sure if I want to go try and segment 6 that, because it's like, I don't know, just not sure yet. Yeah, AN94 does pretty good at segment 1 and is a complete unit at segment 0. That is something I've noticed, is like almost every unit is like, it works at segment 0, but then segment 1 is like, do you want to do this other cool thing? They usually lock like one thing. For example, Nakata here, she works just fine at segment 0, but if you want to have that nice, really comfy skill 2 alt rotation, then yeah, you want the segment 1. Okay, I'm done rambling, guys. I think we're Gucci. What's going on next week? I think we have a new expansion drill going on. We'll have a new expansion drill next week. Gunsmoke Frontline will be over, be free, and I will have us do the rest of the challenge modes, and the you can watch me struggle again with the inverse ciphers, although I might peek just to not embarrassing myself. So, but I think we're gonna end it there, guys. I'm gonna do a little research on the segment 6 debacle. We'll see if I talk myself out of it. I probably will, but maybe I'll be stupid. Maybe we'll get, maybe we'll get crazier in Izzle for a stream, and he'll just, Jesus take the wheel. So, alrighty, dudes. Until we have more info, I will catch you guys later. Hopefully they're gonna talk about the when we're getting the big dorm. The big dorm. Hopefully soon. So, alrighty, guys, take it easy. I will catch you guys in the next one. See you laters.